you've already alluded to a lot, which I think is really important for people thinking about going overseas, right? Like lots of listeners will be like, I've got a good job opportunity in US, right? Like, what does that really mean from a tax point of view? Should I get some advice? And, you're a perfect man for that type of thing. But also Aussies living overseas, should I buy an investment property? Well, let's figure that out, like from a tax point of view and, capital gains tax and negative gearing, and get that advice. Because, even if you decide to stay overseas a lot longer than you expect, or you don't ever come back, like that could really shoot yourself in the foot. So, but give us a property Dumbo, a story that you think our people can learn from.
Never buy off the plan as an expat. And the reason for that is 9 times out of 10 you're buying in a location or region you have no clue. So you don't have that ability to do your own research. Second of all, expats are treated as an easy target. The people the promoters will play on your heartstrings as an Aussie. Invest back in Australia, you can't go wrong. It's not until I show these people my LinkedIn messages of the commission rates that I get offered if I can get clients into these properties.
Wow.
I'm talking 5 and 10% of the property value, and I say to them, if you're paying at least this much above market. So there's nothing wrong with Australian property. Yes, it's expensive. Does it get much further? That's a whole nother episode. But to me, you make money in property on the way in. So you always want to buy something that stacks up on a value basis. And there's too much stock and inventory that is building up right now that I'm starting to see being flogged again overseas. And it does make me nervous.
It's funny you should say that because at the beginning when we were chatting, so listeners, when we were chatting with Brett before we actually pressed record, we said, have you listened to any episodes? And he said no. And so we can tell you we have not set him up to say this, but Brett, for your interest, we are always on the case about do not buy off the plane for lots of reasons. That's one of them. The commission's obviously paid to people that are recommending it to you is absolutely one of the reasons. But so what you're saying, and the very fact that you've said this says to me that you must have seen some examples of people that have really shot themselves in the foot by buying it.
Massively. And they'll come to me and go, do you know about this location? Like, never heard of it. It's like, well, never have I. I own a place there. And it's scary. Would you buy a car without test driving it? Would you, it's just, I think sometimes people just, if it's easy, people aren't lazy, but they like to be if they can. And if it's put on a platter, just sign here, sir. Sign here, ma'am. And they feel good. They get that emotional currency by doing it. I'm providing for my family. I'm doing this and doing that. But, it's like the 5 Ps, isn't it? Prior preparation prevents blah, blah, blah. The same thing with buying property. You make money on the way in. And if you're paying above the odds for something that's worth a lot less, and it's not a good performing asset as well.
Well, that's it. It's what you buy.
Exactly.
I think what's interesting to me in that story is that, what actually happens in expat world, right? It's that, there's a lot of financial planners that English, Aussies, living in these expat locations. You're an Aussie financial planner that's gone over there that is sort of dealing with Aussie sort of financial plans, right? You're doing Aussie regulation, right, in terms of your advice?
Yeah, we call this the embassy. This office here in Dubai is under ASIC regulations and everything, as well as local. But everything's there's no different to if I was sitting in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane. Yeah,
exactly. And that's not what every financial planner in expat world is, right? So a lot of financial planners are basically a lot lower barrier to entry. The products they get offered can be commission based. And
they're all commission based. They're salespeople.
Yeah, exactly.
Isle of Man, 10-year bonds.
Yeah. And, I've got mates who, financial planners in different parts of the world and, and they do work on these commission bases, right? And commission basis encourages them to look for other commission paying products, and off the plan property is just one of those commission paying products, right?